So, my name is Erin, and I live on an island north of Seattle. And I realized I'm horrible at just doing an introduction and kind of explaining a little bit about this channel. My intention is to continue to split the content between time in nature and time knitting. And so that is what I am doing. This week, with the tremendous heat dome that is happening in the US, I decided to film a little bit in the woods near me as a way to extend the coolness of the woods, since I am right outside, fortunately, outside of the range for the heat dome. And so I'm sending cool thoughts, and the last thing that most people want in the heat is knits. But one thing that I am doing is trying to find a very inexpensive plant fiber to work with. And I found this site that is, I believe, in Denmark, and it's called Lindehobby, LINDEHOBBY.com. And I was able to find this cotton bamboo yarn to work with. And I have never made anything in bright, shocking colors. That's not usually my style. I'm like earthy tones, jewel tones. But I thought I would make a tee out of this. And this yarn is Viking Garn, Bambino, and it has a lovely feel to it and drape. And so it's a fingering weight bamboo cotton blend. And one of these, let's see, is it 50 grams or is it? Yeah, one of these 50-gram balls is $2. And the postage, somehow miraculously, they do not charge much postage from Denmark to here, to the US. And so I'm not sure how that's even possible, unless they have a warehouse or something in the US for US customers. I'm not sure. But from a place where I know that a lot of Europe sells yarn in grocery stores, it's that common, knitting is that common, or yarn crafts are that common. And it's usually really good quality wool or yarn. So that's why I've been seeking out these sources that I can just find online rather than in person in the US. There's not really any place near me that sells cost-effective quality yarns that I found. And although that's not entirely true, but I just mean there's nothing that can beat like $2 for a skein. And that means I could make a shirt for as much as it would, like a t-shirt for summer, for as much as it would cost me to buy like off the rack, a fine knit, only it will be hand knit rather than machine knit. So I've been just really feeling all the feels this week. I know it's a tough week for many, with everything that's going on, and I won't belabor that point. But I thought I've been having this image of feeling frozen a lot, like in a piece of amber, like an insect in a piece of amber is the image that came to my mind. And so I've been just kind of going through cycles of just feeling absolutely exhausted from the world, more than is normal for me. and so I've been really just monitoring my energy levels and trying to take care of myself. And I thought along those lines, I thought I would read from, I've been rereading quite a bit of from Indigenous writers that I admire. For a while, throughout my 20s and 30s, I wrote a lot of poetry and read a lot of poetry. And some of the Indigenous writers, Leslie Marmon Silko is one of them. And then Joy Harjo, who was Poet Laureate of the United States in 2019, who you may have heard of. But she is native to a member of the Muskogee Creek Nation. And I have this little collection that is called Conflict Revolution for Holy Beings. And I also have her memoir, life memoir, which is really fabulous. Let me see if it's here. Nope, it's not on the bookshelf behind me, but anyway, I've been just dipping into those resources, and there's just the very first poem in this collection about conflict resolution, I feel is, actually it's the second poem, but it's just so powerful, and I'm hoping that I thought about I'll include a link of her reading this poem, because I definitely don't want to give anyone the impression that I myself am Indigenous. I mean, we're all Indigenous to somewhere if we chase our patrilineal DNA lines far back enough. But Indigenous to America, I am not. And so I don't want, in reading this poem in the voice of an Indigenous American, I don't want to insinuate in any way that I am that. So I will also include a link to her reading this. But I thought I would read this because it just feels so appropriate to our time. And I find that Indigenous voices, whether it's poetry or prose, they tap into a much broader perspective than I see in my own culture. And it's just, in terms of resilience, I can't think of a more resilient people. So this one is called For Calling the Spirit Back from Wandering the Earth in Its Human Feet. Put down that bag of potato chips, that white bread, that bottle of pop. Turn off that cell phone, computer, and remote control. Open the door, then close it behind you. Take a breath offered by friendly winds. They travel the earth, gathering essences of plants to clean. Give it back with gratitude. If you sing, it will give your spirit lift to fly to the stars' ears and back. Acknowledge this earth who has cared for you since you were a dream planting itself precisely within your parents' desire. Let your moccasin feet take you to the encampment of the guardians who have known you before time, who will be there after time. They sit before the fire that has been there without time. Let the earth stabilize your post-colonial insecure jitters. Be respectful of the small insects, birds, and animal people who accompany you. Ask their forgiveness for the harm we humans have brought down upon them. Don't worry. The heart knows the way though there may be high-rises, interstates, checkpoints, armed soldiers, massacres, wars, and those who will despise you because they despise themselves. The journey might take you a few hours, a day, a year, a few years, 100, 1,000, or even more. Watch your mind. Without training, it might run away and leave your heart for the immense human feast set by the thieves of time. Do not hold regrets. When you find your way to the circle, to the fire kept burning by the keepers of your soul, you will be welcomed. You must clean yourself with cedar, sage, or other healing plant. Cut the ties you have to failure and shame. Let go the pain you are holding in your mind, your shoulders, your heart, all the way to your feet. Let go the pain of your ancestors to make way for those who are heading in our direction. Ask forgiveness. Call upon the help of those who love you. These helpers take many forms: animal, element, bird, angel, saint, stone, or ancestor. Call your spirit back. It may be caught in corners and creases of shame, judgment, and human abuse. You must call in a way that your spirit will want to return. Speak to it as you would to a beloved child. Welcome your spirit back from its wandering. It may return in pieces, in tatters. Gather them together. They will be happy to be found after being lost for so long. Your spirit will need to sleep a while after it is bathed and given clean clothes. Now you can have a party. Invite everyone you know who loves and supports you. Keep room for those who have no place else to go. Make a giveaway, and remember, keep the speeches short. Then you must do this. Help the next person find their way through the dark. And then after each poem in this little collection, Conflict Resolution for Holy Beings by Harjo. After each poem, there is this little statement in italics that, so she weaves these two, a full-length poem, and then this little page of a little phrase or statement. So it's almost like weaving two layers of poems through this, or poems and prose. And I love this, that she says, for any spark to make a song, it must be transformed by pressure. There must be unspeakable need, muscle of belief, and wild, unknowable elements. I'm singing a song that can only be born after losing a country. I think for many of us now, we may feel that we have lost our country. I don't know if that is entirely the fact, but it can feel that way right now. So, with the global trend toward authoritarianism, I'm trying to find, there's one other small phrase in here that just jumped out at me. Oh yes, this is another where there's just a line or two on a page. This sentence says, two sentences: let's not shame our eyes for seeing. Instead, thank them for their bravery. In times that need courage, that is a beautiful statement to me, that we need to continue witnessing and be brave to not turn away, even as painful as our feelings maybe about what is happening to human rights and dignity, due process, and all these things that we thought were cornerstones maybe of our society that may be challenged right now, and not just our country, but in the world. So we can continue to be maybe hosting a party for those who love us, and continue to practice moments of joy that we can find, as she says. So I thought I would share that. And then I will attach the little glimpses of me in the woods for the nature portion. And I will just show you, I was going to wait until this is completed, but I'm going to try to spread this out as much as possible. I think this textile I think I must have like a sensory, I'm clearly neurodivergent in some ways, my brain is. And so there is some way that textures and textiles give me a sensory pleasure, I guess, even just viewing them, that maybe it doesn't to other people. But when I first saw this texture and this textile and this pattern, I just like had a rush of joy kind of go through me. And to be able to make it has been just fabulous to work on. And I can't wait till the piece is done, so then I can show it in its full glory. The last thing that I'll show is the continuation, the endless continuation of the moss blossom. I can't wait to wash this so that it will be flattened out and the lace will show itself better. I ran out of, I knew this was going to happen when I started, so I had a backup green to continue. And I don't mind if it's a blend of greens. It may look kind of cool when it's done. But I've got 3 more of these sections to go till the length is complete. And then it will be attached, wrapped around, and like sewn at the back or at the side, so that you can wear it as like a wrap, a light wrap, for cool evenings. Let's hope we have more cool evenings on Earth. And anyway, it's a lovely piece that I've been working on forever, and I'm just, enjoying it. So both the pieces that I'm working on, I'm really just doing them because I enjoy the process, which is always great. Yeah, so that's what I have for today. And yeah, so I've been struggling with a sort of, it's a chronic medical issue ever since my cancer, which I've been open about, I've mentioned in the past. So I, along with many women you may know, am a breast cancer survivor. And ever since my surgery and radiation 2 years ago, 2 and 3 years ago, I have had recurrent infections, and there's no doctor can tell me anything to do constructive other than antibiotics. And so whenever I have them more frequently than every 3 months or so, like 4 times a year, I refuse to just think there's nothing I can do. So that's why I went on the little snippets that I'll show you in the woods. I try to do self-healing, and only when I get to the point of fever, chill, and shaking chills, that's when I go to the walk-in clinic for antibiotics. Short of that, I've found that I can, at the first signs of pain, and I get all over body aches, as if it feels like a flu at first. And when I get those first signs of it before it turns into serious fever and shaking chills, which means it's like systemic in my body, I have twice now been able to just stop it in its track by resting, drinking tons of water, and walking gently in the forest. Those three things I'm like trying to hold on to as a way to self-heal. And so far that has been working in this week's time. So if anyone out there finds that helpful, just passing it along if you experience the same thing. I mean, I've been told by an oncologist that, oh, that happens, but there's nothing that anyone can tell me to do. So I'm self-healing, I guess, and I guess they seem to crop up, especially when I'm overworked, stressed, and it's ever since my surgery, where I did have a post-surgical infection, which is very common with breast surgeries. And so even though that long ago healed, I feel like there must be some reason I just get these repetitive, it must be like some little spot that is, it's like I have this resident in me or something that just, whenever I'm in a weakened state, it like turns into a full-blown infection. So it's a pain, and I am just mentioning that because it just may be helpful to anyone out there who's experienced this. I know quite a few women in their 40s and 50s that are going through breast cancer treatment, and it's quite just seems to be just so darn common. So my heart is with you all in the heat dome and cancer survivors of all kinds. And I have to shout out to my own daughter, adult daughter, who herself is a cancer survivor and is doing amazing work in the world. And in these times, I am just so reassured to have met the young people that I know of her generation. So like that would be early 20s, recent college grads or current college grads. Even though the world feels, or in the US, the climate is so harsh, we get these messages of like student loans will be disappearing. By the way, I'm paying off a student loan that I never thought I would have to pay off because I am so low income. Another story for another day, but that, we hear so much, there's so much at it being attacked right now, educational institutions, student loans for low income, access to education in general, and then and attacks within our science, severe cuts to our science infrastructure. And so I know that it's a very challenging job market for young people, as it has been for me. And so despite all that, the young people that I've met are just, they inspire me to no end. So that gives me hope. And I still want to believe in a country, in an America where kindness can thrive, and just human dignity can be the rule of the day. So sorry for getting emotional there, but anyway, so that's all I wanted to say. And yeah, I will definitely put a little short video of my completed objects. Oh, by the way, this knit piece behind me, I do have a little video clip of it on my website, but I thought while it's here, I just noticed it in the background. Like, I can just show you. I wanted this color because it's like it felt like diving into a pool, but it's a giant round blanket. And it is definitely too warm today to even though I'm not in the heat dome, it is still summer. So I will not be wrapping this around me, but you can fold it in half and just wrap it around you to wear as a wrap in the winter. So I just love it as a chair cover. And I was hoping to make another one eventually when I can afford the wool out of maybe a plant fiber, so that it would be just lighter. This is a very plush merino wool, so it's just very, squishy and thick and great for winter. Hello, I am going to try a little tutorial with my camera that I just figured out a way it may work without my camera falling off the tripod at this angle. I thought I've been working on this wonderful Yara Shawl from Natasja Hornby, and I was going to wait to record a podcast until I had finished everything so I could show finished objects. But instead, I thought, since this year I have completed many mosaic patterns, that I would just do a little tutorial on mosaic knitting as I'm completing this. So I can barely see my hands the way this is set up. It's very hard for me to explain, but basically I don't have an iPhone, and so this is one of the downsides. It's taken me a long time to figure out these things that seem to be easier to do on iPhones. Anyway, so this is the backside of the fabric. And what you do in mosaic knitting is you only work on one color. So let's see if I can. Okay, so here's my brown strand that I'm working on. And so I have that in the back of my work. And let's see if I can get this out of the way and make it clear. Okay, so I knit continental style with the left hand, the yarn wrapped in the left hand. And so I'm going to knit every stitch that I see on this row that I've done from the front side of the work. I can trust that all I need to do, I don't need to look at a pattern for the back side of the row ever, because all I need to do is make sure that I understand which color I'm on of the two colors. And then once I know that all I need to do is knit only the brown stitches and then slip the white ones. So I'll show how do that. Okay, so right now there are 5 brown stitches, so I will knit those. And then when I come to this white stitch, I will put the brown yarn in front of the white stitch and just slip it off the needle with that brown yarn in front of it. I hope that this is clear. This is why I prefer to teach in person, if at all possible, because I'm finding it's just really, I need to figure out a better way, because I can tell this is just like my hands are too far from the screen in a way. It looks a bit too small for a tutorial to me, but anyway, I'll continue. So the next stitch is a brown. I'll knit that stitch, then put the brown yarn in front because the next stitch is a white. Slip that white stitch with the brown yarn in front off the needle. And then put this brown yarn back so that I'm in position behind the work to continue knitting all the brown stitches, which in this case there are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I will put the brown yarn in front of the white stitch, which is next. Slip the white, my needle from the right to the left, my right needle from the right to the left, with the brown yarn in front. Slip that white stitch off with the brown yarn carried in front. Then knit the next brown stitch. Then do that again. Put the brown yarn in front of the white stitch. Put the right needle right to left with the brown yarn in front, and just slip that white stitch off without knitting it. Then make sure the yarn is behind the work again, the working yarn, and knit the next brown stitches normal. Now this is in garter stitch mosaic, where both sides of the fabric are knit. I bet you can guess why this trail is called Bent Tree Trail. It's a really cool phenomenon in certain areas where trees, for whatever reason, ground shaking, another tree hitting it, falling on it, storms, whatever, cause it to fall over and then grow up. And usually it can even be a branch that grows into a trunk kind of thing. There's a huge place in Poland, I read, that has a whole like meadow of bent trees. So it's kind of a cool thing to see. I decided to walk to Waterman Rock, which is a glacial erratic in the woods on Whidbey Island. And it is a glacial erratic, from what I understand, is a rock that is so ginormous that has been brought here by glacial floods in the last, I don't even know what years ago, but the last time there was a glacial flood, I'm assuming at the end of the Ice Age. There's stuff I can look up online to give links, but anyway, this is just I haven't been here in a while, and it's a pretty remarkable piece of rock to see up close. To imagine the force of water that must have carried it to be able to move this. I'm also sending coolness from the ferns and the woods to all those suffering under the heat dome these next week in the US, because I am very fortunate to be just out of range of the heat dome. I see a sign here that explains a little bit more. It's very graffitied or slashed out, but so the interesting thing is that if I ask ChatGPT to tell me what it knows about me, it mixes me up with this Waterman family that this rock is named after, because they were one of the first families to log the area, I believe, and still descendants live here. But I am not related to them, even though I carry the last name. Let's see if I can just go circle around it, perambulate. It's just kind of refreshing to me to gain perspective in these times by contemplating things that are much, much bigger than this moment, that I'm not going to clamber over these rocks at the moment while trying to carry this, but I just am grateful that I could come here and check it out. Mossy side of the rock. There's a nice cool breeze through here with the moisture. Sending cool thoughts to those in the heat dome.